Hey everyone, we are about to get started. I hope that you are ready to have the conversation absolutely. Let me know that you can hear me properly first, if it like you can. Can you make sure that everybody's hearing me? Can you check the mic?
Yeah, it's a lag.
No, check the mic. Can y'all hear
The
me?
mic is. It's like you weren't talking in the mic.
Okay. It's supposed to be on that. All right. You can hear me now. You should be able to hear me properly. Let me know in the chat that you can hear me properly before we get started. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now? All right, that's better. All right, we're about to get started. Just had to check that and get that right.
My name is Shantae Standback, and I am a patron of Dr. Reid's platform, LRL, on Patreon, as well as a member of Reformation Church of Atlanta. I started as a viewer. On Facebook Live. I was introduced to Dr. Reid as he was covering church in the pandemic. A friend of mine shared the video with me and was like, you have to watch this, because this particular episode that he was providing his commentary on hit home for me, as it was the family church that I grew up in. So it was from that moment, and I remember it was October of 2020. And it hit home for me because at that time it was the height of COVID. And although I was no longer a member of this church, I still had family members that were still pretty much, very much a part of it, 4 generations. So it was very emotional for me. But in all that I received from his comedic commentary, who knew that that would be the lure that God would use to pull me in. And that's how my journey started. So I started as a viewer, ended up becoming a patron, and now I am a member, as I stated. I had no idea that I still had so much, as he coins the term, church brain, that still needed to be uprooted. So what Reformation has done for me, what the LRL platform Patreon has done for me, has been transformational. I was so over church. And I know many have kind of shared and expressed the same thing in this community. But I was over church because I knew it just had to be something so much more to what life was. I saw it as oppressive, and what Dr. Reid has given to me and so many others in this community is experiencing the divine of who we are, the divine being of who God is, in a way that was so limiting from church. And so that is what Patreon, as well as being a part of Reformation Church of Atlanta, has done for me. But it was the lure of his Facebook Lives. And I'll be honest, there were times where I would cringe because my brain sometimes couldn't fathom some of the comedic ways in which he would present topics, but he presented topics that oftentimes the church wouldn't talk about. Things that were oppressive, astrology, sex, things that were often deemed as witchcraft or dark, but yet those are things that were taken from us, that suppressed us, that limit us. And so his teaching, the nuggets and his wisdom from his commentary has been so transformational for me, so life-changing. And so I offer anyone who finds themselves like at the crossroads of just like, it has to be more, like there has to be more than life. It is. This community has helped me to embrace the mystical side of who I am, begin to understand that of what I was called to do, the divine being that I am, to walk boldly in who I am because of who Dr. Reid is and how freeing he is and how bold he is. It allows and has created those same sacred spaces for so many others. So, and that's been my testimony and my journey. I have changed in so many ways for the good in all aspects of my life, from emotional, spiritual, and financial. Let me tell you, that whole financial wellness plan is a game changer. It has been life-changing. That is who I am. Dr. Reid, thank you for your complete and total yes, and for all that you continue to do.
Church Critic by Dr. Larry D. Reid. An examination of the Larry Reid Live Show perspective. Available now on Amazon and Kindle. Inside, he shares his unfiltered perspectives on the issues the church often avoids: the role of women, deconstruction, fatherlessness, homosexuality, decolonization, and the clash between Western and African Christianity, and so much more. Get your copy today on Amazon and Kindle. Multimedia personality, comedic commentator, songwriter, recording artist, spiritual leader, author, and actor. Larry D. Reid is the founder of MBN Global, owner of LDR Enterprises based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and the spiritual leader of the Reformation Church of Atlanta. You can catch Larry Reid on the BET Plus original series Kingdom Business and on American Gangster Trap Queens, streaming online at BET.plus. Looking for a vibrant community where faith meets empowerment? Welcome to the LRL community on Patreon. Here you'll gain access to our financial wellness plan to level up your money game, and the Build Your Immune System Health and Wellness Lifestyle Plan to keep your health in check. But that's not all. With the groundbreaking AIR project, we're creating jobs in Africa, beginning in Ghana. Plus, you'll unlock insider tips from senior executives across industries. And the best part? Be a part of our daily prayers, weekly coaching sessions with Dr. Larry Reid himself, Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Breakdown Q&A Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Patreon, and so much more. It's time to connect, grow, and thrive. Get the apps, grab the merch, and join us on patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Let's build something amazing together. The LRL community is waiting for you.
All right. I hope that you have governed yourself accordingly to the announcements that you have heard. And let me give you some more. First off, you are watching the Larry Live Show platform, but you happen to have an exclusive this morning. And I'm going to do this today and also on Wednesday, because Wednesday is the start of a new month. And each and every month at the top of the month in our closed community, and you can become a part of the closed community in Patreon, patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Every month, as I have for some years now, I explain to those that watch the thing that has been put on my heart from Spirit. And it has led us down a road of spiritual and psychological and financial and neurological growth. It has also created an amazing community, and friendships have been made, partnerships have been made, both personally and also professionally. And it has just caused us all to just advance in every area of our life. So calendar year 2026, we started off talking about the entire year, and we used the first 2 months theme to explain it. The first month was the turning point. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in a turning point year. And February was the tipping point. So the energy of this year, in 2027, 28, moving forward, we're going to be in that turning point, tipping point energy. The turning point and tipping point energy is what we're going to stay in. And this isn't just for those of you that are in spiritual communities, or maybe you're in churches, maybe you are devout Muslim. This is everybody. This is every system on the face of the planet, every country, every government. We're at the turning point and the tipping point. That is the energy of this era that we are in. Now, March, we begin to talk about the trajectory point. Now, at the trajectory point is where you begin to look at what needs to be corrected, what needs to be aligned or adjusted, and you're doing it with the lens that comes from the future. You're looking at where you want to be, where you want to go, what you must do, what you are here for, and your purpose. And then you look at where you are, and you begin to make some adjustments. And this literally allows your trajectory to be the straightest and the shortest, most precise movement straight towards your goal, your target, or whatever it is that you desire to do. So we've been sowing all week long. What do you mean sowing? Well, there is the spiritual law of reciprocity, meaning you give and you get, but then there is sowing. And sowing is very prophetic and it's very intentional and on purpose. That means I can do an act right here today that is like a seed, and it goes through a time period and then it harvests. Now, I'm talking in the world of agriculture, but that spiritual principle, we get it out of the land. We get it out of nature. So this is a principle that is older than Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. This is an ancient practice of the people. And we saw that law in the nature that was around us. And so we practice that here. More so than just giving, which is very rare. You'll see that on this platform. You may go months and you may never hear me say anything about giving on this platform. But when I say seed sowing, I'm talking about a particular spiritual practice, a principle that we're using with our money, not just with just giving or transacting in the moment and sowing the seed. We even do a certain number with a certain intention. We really get into the principle of seed time and harvest that is older than any religious practice that you may be doing right now. It is from our understanding as the first civilization about nature, and we practice that. And that happens in all of our lives all the time. Seed time and harvest. What you do and say today is going to go into time, and time is going to tell it at harvest. Whether that's a thought, a word, a deed, it goes into time, and then time tells on it, and it shows up at harvest. So although we may do it and practice it and do it with the consideration of funding MBN Network Global, we are understanding that we're constantly seed sowing. Thought, word, and deed. All right. What I need for you to do right now before we get started is to hit like and hit share. Once again, if you're watching us and you want to always be a part of conversations like this, is important for you to do two things. One thing, go ahead and sign up Patreon, patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Put that on the screen. Patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. That is the way that you can be in our private community. Another thing that you can do, you can text the word Reformation right now to this phone number. The phone number that you can text the word Reformation, go ahead and get your phone out, type in the word Reformation, and then at the top where it says phone number, put 888-982-8888. 888-982-3820. That's 888-982-3820. 888-982-3820. Sign up right now. Even if you say I already signed up before, but you ain't been getting your notifications, right? Yeah, so you need to re-sign up again. So text right now the word Reformation to 888-982-3820. And if you watch the Larry Live show, you can use that same phone number, but text the letters LRL, so you will know whenever we are live. All right? I'll give you a moment to do that. Now, everybody else that is watching, I'm going to need your help this morning. I want you to take a moment and hit like if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, take a moment and hit like there as well. Larry, why you tell us to do that? Is it for your ego so you can see these numbers increase, so you can see the engagement? No. There's a science, and algorithms are already set. And although there are about 800,000 people that follow the Larry Live platform, all of them don't see the content. All of them don't even see me come across their news feed anymore. And when you hit the like and when you share it, you play the computer game, and you're letting the bots know, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this person finds it interesting and they're in California. This person finds it interesting and they're in North Carolina. Well, let's show it to a few more people in those areas. Let it come up on their phone if they own our app. So that is how it works. So hitting like and hitting share, you literally increase the possibility of those that said, I like the Larry Live platform, seeing it by hitting like and hitting share. So take a moment now. I'm about to get started within the next 5 minutes teaching. Take a moment now and hit like and hit share. If you are on YouTube, please do that. If you're on Facebook, please do the exact same thing, because this is the way that people get to know that we are on. Now, today is the last Sunday in this month called Trajectory Point. Last Sunday, I talked about the war and how it affects us and gave you some keys, a prophetic warning, and we looked at 7 things. Today is going to be a little bit similar but different, but it's a lot of information because I have to close this out. And the trajectory point has been personal, but it's also been a conversation we're having about our government, our world, the war, and money, and how it affects us. So this will be the last part of the trajectory point. Now, on Wednesday, and I'm going to do that right out here, I'm going to go into talking about the spiritual perspective and how it is terribly important as we're moving April forward to really get a great spiritual perspective on what is happening, not just with us and our businesses and our families and our loved ones, but our world, beginning with the situation between America and everybody else. Okay, that's really what it seems like. America and everybody and everything else, wherever she wants to put her nose and get involved in. And so that conversation on Wednesday, I'm going to share publicly some things that will help you navigate spiritually. Now, the main conversation is going to be about the spirit world, because before I can talk about the spiritual perspective, I need to talk to you about the spirit world. Now, you may not be inside of my Patreon, so you don't get to hear a lot of what the people there get to hear and see and know from spirit and about spirit. If you are in the celestial circle, you have an opportunity to take the School of Prophets and Mystics course. What I'm going to do on Wednesday, I'm going to give you an understanding about the spirit world that your children can understand. So I want you to get your children, I want you to get your husband, your family and say, Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to be watching Larry live. Why, what for? Who he talking about? No, y'all some years behind. He is going to explain, decipher, decode, and surgically peel back the layers of our collective understanding concerning spirit, concerning the spirit world. And it's going to be very simple, but terribly insightful. For all of you that are very spiritual, you have all the giftings and abilities and you're advanced, you're going to benefit from Wednesday as well, because it goes back to the foundation of things and is going to clarify some things. So I'm already setting myself for that on Wednesday. I want you to be a part of it. I want you to have that experience. I want to talk to your children. I want to talk to your friend group. That's the time you let them know. You can go ahead and come out in the closet and let them know. Larry Reid is my personal prophet, my teacher. So let me get you over here and watch this at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I'm going to do it on the main platform, and we're going to be talking about the spiritual perspective. I'm not clear on the theme for the month of April yet, but I know I got to do that Wednesday. So we're going to be out here on the main platform at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, okay? And please take a moment right now and be hit like and hit share. And make sure that everybody's hearing me well. Can I have you check that everybody's hearing me well? Okay, okay, got it. Okay, so I'm lightweight happy to be able to do that, to be able to come out here and have that conversation that we're going to be having on Wednesday. While you're coming in, let me know the city and state that you're watching me from. Let me know the city and the state that you are watching me from. I would like to know that. And remember to please hit like and hit share. Y'all know if I have went live, because some of you be like, Dr. Reid, how they know what you're talking about? Girl, I don't know. But if I came up here talking about some really salacious first thing in the morning, thousands of people, and I've done it before on a Sunday morning, thousands of people watching because of what people like to listen to, even before church. You know, they like to hear some good old conversation about something salacious. But when it's topics of this nature, there's so many reasons why people will not see it or be able to engage it. You hitting like and you hitting share, it helps us a whole lot. Now, for those of you that are in our closed community, I just want to announce a few things. So actually, this right here is for everybody. July the 24th through the 26th. Mark your calendar. July the 24th and the 26th. That is our annual in-person meetup time for teaching, for training, for fellowship. It's also our main, once a year, where we fundraise for MBN Network Global. So mark your calendar, and if you're going to be there, first of all, you got to be a patron first. That means go to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. That's the only way you can come to any event. You have to be a patron first. So it's really not open to the whole public, except that the public decide to become a part of Patreon. Once you do that, then go to the reformationexperience.com and go ahead and register and let me know you're going to be in the room at 8 a.m. on the 26th, because that is going to be important. First of all, it's going to be an amazing event, but it's terribly important that I know who is going to be in the room and how many ahead of time, because of what we're going to be providing, okay? And those of you that are in the Celestial Circle, maybe you're not in it and you want to join it this morning. Well, this band coaching is a 12-week intensive where we talk about your branding, accountability, networking, and development. It has been absolutely phenomenal. And the next time we have our next class is April the 8th. We're over halfway through this band coaching. Congratulate yourself in the chat. You made it, you made it, you made it. And you may say, oh, I want to be a part of that. Well, this is something that began at Reformation last year. But it's still possible for you to get a couple of the classes. Let's say you're watching, I want to be a part of that Celestial Circle. Yeah, you should be. You absolutely should be. And the way that you can do that is go to mbnnetworkglobal.org and click Celestial Circle and sign up for a one-time donation for all of these classes that I'm telling you about of $2,026. And when you do that donation, you get, through a little paperwork, into Celestial Circle. And you're going to get the first 2 classes of what? This right here. And I must say it's some of my best teaching I've ever done, coaching rather, that I've ever done for a group. Those first 2 are going to be so impactful, and because of that 2026, because the whole program is 12 weeks, so it's 1,000 each course. Now, that is me taking all of my years of expertise, learning, building groups, building communities. You need to build a community. If you got a product or a service, you need to build a community around it. And the first 2 sessions, if you listen to them, you would know how to build your community. And the $2,026 that you donated, you would generate that over and over and over again in the first few months after taking this course, okay? So I want you to be able to have that. Also, in addition, to what comes at 2026 is a 6-week course, School of Prophets and Mystics. Now, as you can see, we are about on April the 22nd to have our next lesson. Those first 3 lessons, amazing. But the first 2 you will get. Well, actually, if you 2026, you get the whole course. So you stay in it all the way up until we see everybody in July. So you get that entire course. Yeah, that's how we do it over here. You support us, we support you. You support us, we support you. You support us, we support you. It's not like any other nonprofit that many of you in the South will be familiar with. Probably the main nonprofit many of you in the South are familiar with is a church. And they just receive your tithe and your seeds and your offerings and send you about your way. And you just gave it to God. Okay, that's fine. But what we do, we know that people can do several different things with their finances. So we like to say thank you and also help you, because then the help that we give you is going to increase you more. And then so the transaction in the relationship continues. You support, we support you. You support, we support you. So it's an ecosystem of exchange that we've created in relating to those that support what we do. Later on in this broadcast, you're going to have an opportunity to support us and participate in seed, time, and harvest. And we're going to be doing that midway. Right now it's 8:30, so about 9:15 is when we're going to talk about that and do that. Meanwhile, we're going to go into this conversation. Have you hit like? Have you shared? Have you hit like? Have you shared? Those of you that are intuitive and you're prophetic and you have prophetic sight, I want you to screenshot this right here. Because right now, with what's happening geopolitically, I need for you to have a visual in your head while you're praying in the Spirit and while you are declaring and speaking certain things. I need for you to remember this right here. Why, Larry? And let me tell you why. It's because as world changers and reformers, we should have our heart on the global condition of every citizen, no matter who and what they believe or think. And this situation right here, this Iranian, Israeli, and American conflict, this is stressing our planet economically and energetically, financially, and neurologically. Our planet is feeling it one way or another. So when you're doing your prayers, when you are praying in the spirit, Larry, I don't know how to pray about this, but you got the Holy Ghost. So just yield over to that and let the Holy Ghost pray up out your mouth. And to bring this to some kind of either resolve. Larry, what you mean? We should all be praying for it to be over. I don't know if that's the right prayer. I think that's the prayer that I want to pray. Come on, tell the truth. When you got something going on that's irritating you and that's bad, I mean, you almost automatically pray for it to be over. But what I've learned is that some of the greatest things that have ever happened in my mind, psychologically, in my heart, in my spirit, in my character, has been the result of some war or some storm or some trying time. So I don't automatically pray that things are over or it comes to a resolution and resolve. I often pray for the greatest, most favorable outcome for me and for others. And sometimes the storm is the only thing and the war is the only thing that can bring the most favorable result. So I've learned that when I'm praying concerning something or for something, then I'm locked into that awareness that this could be the training for the reigning, that this could be the exercise before the elevation. This could be the lesson that precedes the blessing. So when I pray and when I declare, when I say pray, ain't no begging going on. But when I pray and I say and I create, I'm doing so with the awareness and the possibility. So that's where you get into the prophetic declaration, because the prophetic calls you to feel what the will is. And then you can declare and decree in alignment with the will or the mind of God concerning this. I don't like it, and I want it to be over. But this could be working together for my greatest outcome of good. So I'm gonna let that be, and I'm just going to extract the lesson and exhaust everything that I'm supposed to get up out of this here that I'm going through. So I want us to collectively be thinking about this region, the people in this region, what this is all about. We do understand conflict is a lot of times a part of growth. So this war, we can surmise that it brings us a step closer to the world economic structure that we need to embrace. It somehow or another causes the old to pass away and the new to come front and center. So we can collectively begin to pray concerning this area, but I want you to be clear on how to pray concerning it, because out of this is coming something good. Put in the chat, out of this comes something good. Out of this comes something good. And I want you to think about this not just for this conflict, but I want you to think about this concerning what's going on in your house I don't know nothing about. What's going on in your marriage I don't know nothing about. What's going on in your life I don't know nothing about. But I'm speaking to it right now. And I'm saying, out of this comes something good. And I need for you to say that out your mouth so you can get very cognizant about it, so we can get filled up with that on the first day of the week, that you can get filled up with that energetically, and it just reshapes and repostures you for a very successful week, that out of this comes something that is good. Good for me, good for us all, good for everybody involved. Out of this comes something that is good. It could be death, loss, losing of a loved one or a job or opportunity, or a house or a car, or I don't know. Out of that, something good is coming. And I think everybody knows that was raised in church, that text that is in the King James Version of the Bible that says all things work together. That is everything. When I say all things work together for the what? Out of this comes some good. All things work together for the good. For who? Those that are called according to his purpose. Those that respect and honor the system of all things called God. Everything is going to work out for your good. Y'all got that? What happens a lot of times when there's a transition of a loved one, I just want to say this. When there's a transition of a loved one or a loss of a relationship, you, the survivor, and I like that they call us that, because you must survive the death process in this experience. What they do, they go into the death experience, which is transitory, and they pass into another existence. You must survive that gravitational pull that is on the transition, because they're going out and you're still here. They're going out and you're still here. If you're not careful psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, you can start going with them into the death transition. So to make this transition, you must stay rooted and grounded and present. This allows you to survive the transition. So when you're losing someone, you are going through the process of mourning and grief and mourning and grief, because you're mourning the way that you experienced them before, as opposed to the way that you are now forced to experience them. And it removes the physicality. And we are so familiar with what we can touch, what we can taste and smell in this realm. So to then begin to have to go into the part of our senses that nobody taught us in Christianity that we're supposed to develop. They didn't tell us to develop our imagination. They did not tell us to develop our perception, our pattern recognition. All of these things are prophetic tools, and you're going to find this out on Wednesday. All of these things give you data and information and muscle to move in spirit. So now this transition has happened, and now you must get used to dealing with them, not in this realm, but in this one. And you've got to learn the skill to do it. And you got to learn the process and how to relate to them now that they're on a different plane. Okay? So embrace that journey personally, and do not allow yourself to begin now. Here they are transitioning, and then now you're so in this thing to where now you are experiencing death on some level in a way that is not good for you. All things work together for the good. Okay? something that is good is coming out of all of this. Okay? All right, so it is 8:41. And we've already had so many conversations. So let me say this. The greatest battle in this season is not geopolitical. It's psychological and neurological. And if your psyche and your nervous system are both unstable, then your decisions will be as well. The work that you must consistently do right now moving forward, take care of your psychological and neurological system. And the way that you do that is not just prayer. In fact, it's not the time to pray. It's time to train the mind to learn and build new systems, to use new tools, pivot from the old tool, and implement the change. This is the time for that. This is not the time to just pray. Because prayer is going to make you desperate. Prayer alone is going to make you anxious. Prayer alone is going to turn you into a beggar. This is not the time for that. It is time to create, generate, conjure, call forth, speak to, do something different, plan of action. So this morning we're going to look at the core human responses to war, but we're also going to look at the plans of action. Because I don't want you to go into a fear-based survival mode. You got to keep that at bay. Because fear does nothing but brings more of it near. And so we are going to let go of fear, and we're going to change what's going in our ear. Because whatever goes in your ear can affect not just your ear, but who and what you fear and what comes near. Look at near, fear, year. At the core is the ear. So who you are listening to and what you are listening to is more important right now, psychologically and neurologically, than it's ever been. So this is why you cannot just sit up and watch the news all the darn time, because you're playing in the world of your psyche and your nervous system, and you're causing it to move into these postures that aren't proper for you. I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again now. There are 3 dominant neurological states at work right now. Number 1 is hypervigilance. That means the brain stays in that threat detection mode. Watching the news can do that for you. Cognitive overload, number 2. And that is the direct result of not just taking in information, but taking in contradicting narratives. President says this, then he says that, then we find out this and that. Cognitive overload. And when that happens, most people, they freeze in the moment. Or either, the other people, impulsive moves they make. Because that cognitive overload, it makes it difficult to make a decision. And you got to remember, with Uranus going into Gemini, Gemini is the communicator. There are going to be lots of signals communicated to us, lots of narratives with little to no clarity or truth. So that's what I'm going to call now Gemini distortion period. Not only is the sun going to go out of Aries into Taurus and then into Gemini, but we have Uranus in Gemini until about 2033. So we're going to have to deal with Gemini distortion through AI and through the cyberspace Overton again. This marks the beginning of a period of artificial intelligence. Listen to what I'm saying. Artificial, not real, intel that is going to be coming through the veil called the Gemini distortion veil. And that's neurological and psychological. So cognitive overload, hypervigilance. Number 3, survival reprioritization. That is the third neurological state that is going to be dominant right now where we are. And it's the result of the nervous system feeling unsafe. And whenever that happens, we tend to, the human characteristic that we have, this survival mode, to where we sacrifice long-term goals for short-term safety, the feeling or the illusion of safety. We sacrifice those long-term goals to just soothe our nerves right now. People are drinking more, smoking more, and getting higher and having more sex and watching more porn than normal right now. They're trying to calm themselves. And others who have been made numb by what is happening in our world, they're trying to feel something by doing those things. And then others, they're just trying to escape all of the feelings. Called numb is a feeling. They don't want to be numb and they don't want to be stimulated. They just want to just escape all of that. And so entertainment and some of the more low vibrational offers that our culture have, like alcohol and getting high and porn and all kind of sextivities, these are things people are going to grab hold to feel or not feel or to escape both. And that's that short-term feeling of safety or soothing that can become addictive. And they do it at the expense of their long-term goals. People shift from vision building to preservation. They shift from being in that mode of growth and development to then protecting themselves. So these are the 3 neurological patterns, or neurological states, rather, that are dominant right now amongst us all. And because of that, I'm going to talk about the 8 types of people that we see, or that the 8 types of people that literally have to walk through this war. And we're going to look at their psychological and neurological patterns and learn from that. So I'm going to give you the psychological and neurological pattern of 8 types of people in war. Then after I do that, I'm going to give you some windows from looking at the heavens of certain things that are going to be happening from this year all the way up until 2043. So I'm going to give that to you. So after I finish, maybe even midway of these 8, I'm going to give you an opportunity to support this platform and to participate in the sacred holy principle of seed time and harvest. And there are 4 different levels at which you can support us financially, because I know everybody I'm talking to ain't rich and everybody I'm talking to is not struggling. So there's 4 different levels for you to activate your faith. Now, whenever it's time to give, it has to be a sacrifice and it has to be cheerful. But that's a principle not just at offering time. That's a principle you should be experiencing and seeing in your life. If you want to receive compliments, give compliments. If you want the relationship to be more secure, you have to seed the relationship with acts of security. So seed time and harvest is the principle that we embrace when it's time to give here. And there are 4 different levels, because if everybody here, there's 4 different levels of faith and finances. And I'm going to give you that opportunity in just a little bit. But first, psychological and neurological pattern of 8 types of people in war. For those of you that have to go, Larry, what are the 4 levels? Well, let me give it to you. Since you're wearing me so bad, I'm trying to go forward. Leave me alone. These are the 4 levels. Everybody here can do $53.33. And I'm actually asking for 53 people to do that. And then I'm asking for 7 people to do the high performer of $133.33. And those of you that do that, the prophet that works with me, Shamako, is going to call you. If he's called you before, you'll receive an audio where he thanks you for your donation, prays with you, and give you the prophetic word. That's high performers. Those that are doing the stakeholder, $333.33, which is a very powerful play on the number 3. You know what that means. He's going to be calling you as well. And I am calling for 7 stakeholders. And then I'm calling for 7 superseders, 53333. Look at the partner seed, $53.33. And then the top one is $533. You see how we're connecting. We're all at 4 different levels of our faith and finances, but we all still in this moment one prophetic experience. So we're tying even the seed numbers into each other. So the person that's sowing $53.33, but you want to be at the space where you can do $533.33, that's a sacrifice for you versus $53.33. See, I'm tying you into somebody who has that kind of anointing on their life. Yeah. So look at that. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do it. In just a few minutes, okay? Let me see. What is this? I got some fresh intel from bond contacts this morning. The RV is happening Wednesday. What's that, baby? What's the RV? And what you mean by bond? I don't know what you're talking about. Tell us in the chat. I don't know. You says crypto. You might be talking about something else, some money or something. That's what it sounds like. Exactly. When I talked about what people are looking for. There was someone in my life, I'm not going to call their name, they were going to move to Houston. And so me and a few prophets done some scrying and looking. And of course, you can go do whatever you want to do. But if they had went to Houston in 6 months, the prophetic word said they would be sick. And now looking at what happened after that, and also talking about structurally for business, it will look good and go bad. Right after that, they got hit with all that stuff. This been some years ago. And since then, Houston has been like the mecca for STDs amongst the black community. Yeah. Let me see. All right, trying to figure out what they were saying in that comment, but that's not making no sense. Thank you, Miss C7029 for becoming a member. Somebody said Atlanta too. No, that's a rumor. And I talked about this some years ago. Atlanta has a bad rap. Houston and Miami and San Fran, these are people all ahead of Atlanta. Let me tell you why it's happening. Number one, people moving from the country to the city to get wild. That's what's happening. And they come to the city and they see all the different shapes and colors and sizes of women and men, and they get real raggedy. And they're like, oh my God, Atlanta bad. No, y'all country niggas from out there that are moved here, you come here and get stupid. And now you got our health clinic claiming the numbers that should have been out there in the county. That's what's happening. That's how it go. Let me see. The reevaluation of the country's money. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've discussed that. We know that's coming, and it's important. It has to happen. All of this has to happen. No, you still can go not eating. You just ain't gonna go with your legs open. See, it's different. When you know, you know. You just bring your rolls and then go back home. I'm trying to tell y'all it is not worth it. All right. What you say? I got it. I already seen it. The new council guards finish their training Tuesday and Wednesday will be the big shift. I didn't mean to disrupt. Well, you did. And we're going to get to that part, so stay around. But we've already discussed it here. See, people like you will be right at home in our community because we keep our ear to the ground. Well, thank you for that. Was an interruption that was welcome. Don't do it no more. Wait till we get to that part. But that was a great interruption. All right. Now let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at this. Now I already gave you the 3 dominant neurological states. And you're going to see this in people around you, maybe within your own self. You may be switching from and between some. Number 1, that hypervigilance, where the brain stays in threat detection mode, constant scanning for danger, increased anxiety plus overconsumption of the news. So your fear center goes up, your cortisol stress hormone goes up in the brain, and this creates the space that, number 2, cognitive overload happens. And that cognitive overload, because of that intake of information, there are more than one information source. So now you got the conflict of information happening right here, which creates a difficulty for most to make decisions. Some freeze and some make impulsive decisions. That Gemini distortion causes all these narratives to just happen. No clarity comes. Difficult to unearth the truth. And then number 3, that survival reprioritization, to where people make this not so good of a shift from vision to preservation, from growth to protection, and from long-term thinking to short-term safety. And you need to actually be a balance of both, but not abandoning your long-term goals for short-term remedy. And that happens because the nervous system is signaling, you ain't safe. You ain't safe. Do that later. Worry about destiny and purpose later. You ain't safe. That's what the nervous system starts saying. It happens. Are y'all with me this morning? Renee Baylor says, I love the realness. Oh, yes, I don't know but one way to be. Thank you, Tamara. So these are the 3 neurological states being experienced right now. You need to identify them, identify yourself, and those that are around you, because they may not be vocalizing it. And this could be the reason why they're so darn snappy. Because they're dealing with this thing. Yeah, we have a whole lot of people that are privy to intel and information in this community. They just tell me by night, and then I come out here and tell everybody else. That's how that works. So come on in the community and be a mole for the government and everybody else. That's how it works. You keep it private with me, and then I tell everybody. You know, it's very interesting because information, America, king and queen of propaganda in the world. When I was in Dubai, when this conflict started, there was information that we got while I was there that just came out this week here. And the way they brought it out here, it's like they drug it out through what they would talk about something over and over and over, then hit you with that information to where it almost takes away the impact or shapes how you see that piece of information that they gave you. And it's almost like it just anesthetizes you to where, yeah, they told you, but you don't really care. And it's the way that they did it. It ain't like that overseas. Prime example, okay. Let's suppose Trump was beheaded. This is how it would sound in the East. Top story today, Trump's head has been taken off. America. What are you saying? There's something that has happened. Something has happened at the White House. We don't know. Now, they know he beheaded. They give us scenes of the police coming up to the White House, agents running in, and people come and talk. So we don't know what's going on, but it's a whole production to just get to the point of he ain't got no head no more. That is America. And sometimes they be messing around and told you something that ain't even true, like, you know, he got shot in the ear. And they give you a little piece of visual, and then that becomes a narrative for a while because over here they're shifting stuff with the money. So they make that the headline. That is how American media works. All right? All right. Okay. Let's get into, because I just saw where they were saying that the soldiers are being targeted because they moved off the base and went into hotels. Yo, we found that out like March the 3rd. And we were in Dubai. By March the 3rd. And that was just now rolling out here. No, that's been the conversation. They were doing that while we was overseas. Oh my God. All right, let's go. And so I'm not telling you something I heard. Now, my former wife and the mother of my children, she used to tell me that all the time, and I believed her. But the fact of me being actually over there near the Middle East and saw that firsthand, we don't get the truth on our news. We get a production. It's like a reality show production. All right. Now let's look at the psychological and neurological patterns of these 8 people in war. Number 1, the American citizen. Let's look at the psychological pattern. Right now, every American has lost institutional confidence in systems, a full loss of trust in institutions. But y'all, this is good because this is really a revelation. Because you should have never had your trust in these institutions. And that job, you go and punch that clock and that 9 to 5, I don't care if it's a government contract, which I'm going to talk about the contract in just a little bit. You just should not have had any confidence in any of these things. Now, the whole time you were saying you trust in God, but the reality is you never had to access your faith because you had everything fixed. See, when you got everything fixed, you're not using faith. But when there is no possibility to have a dependence on anything that is fixed, you move into the world of faith. This is why we should be in the action of creating opportunities for our faith to grow and to expand. We should not look for the fix. We should always look for what is next. And living in that space of looking for the next is futuristic. It makes you prone to the prophetic, living in that space. So this is why we move the way that we do as visionaries. If it's God's will, it's his bill. So I'm going to say yes to this conference, and I don't have a dime to pay for it. That's living in next, living in the future, living and operating in faith, as opposed to signing up for the life that is fixed. Now, can you become rich and wealthy, living a life that's fixed, a 9 to 5? Absolutely you can. But will you see more money than the person that is living and walking in faith, living from the future and in the world of next? Are you going to have the same kind of faith that they have? No. That person pick up and go and can start a new life in a new country and not miss a beat. But that fixed person is going to be struggling with the risk of it all. Even their investments are calculated. But the person that's over here in the world of faith and living in the next and out of the future has a different kind of function, a different kind of faith. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. So the American citizen, which is a project and which is a construction by the West, the American citizen, their psychological pattern right now, they have lost trust in the institutions, and political polarization has settled in and intensified, and something feels off to them, although they're not clear on it. This is a great place for the American citizen because its wake up is near. Neurologically, they're in a low-grade stress mode all the time. I didn't realize it until I went out the country. And I said, why do I feel so free and so light? It's because I wasn't in the tension that is in the American dream, a.k.a. the American lie, the American, a.k.a. illusion. Yes, we make more money. Yes, our money is handled like it's worth more than certain countries' currency. And many of us have believed that. Now we're getting to see the truth. The truth is we just print money and it's not worth anything except what people think it's worth. Now that illusion is fading, and people are going to money that actually has worth. The paper in hand is connected to wealth. The paper in hand is connected to gold. We left that gold standard in the 70s. Neurologically, the American citizen is struggling with sleep. The American citizen right now, 8 types of people, looking at their neurological and psychological pattern, 8 types of people in war. The American citizen has an increase of irritability right now and aggression. And most American citizens right now, they're hoarding. Many hoarding their money, hoarding this and that, pulling back from outings and shopping. and they're reacting emotionally to the news cycle. Your average American citizen, that's the conversation at lunchtime. That's the conversation in text thread. Did you see what he just said? Did you see what Iran just did? And just reacting. And who the hell is they? I keep hearing people, they said that the hotel got hit in Dubai. Who do y'all still listen to they? These people do not, whoever they is don't know shat. Whoever they is clearly are not well informed. Because they just be saying some of the most stupid. Who is they? So that's number one. Psychological, neurological pattern of 8 types of people in war. And I'm telling you this so you can identify it, identify yourself, and know who you're moving amongst. So the American citizen. Number 2, the global citizen. That's me. Psychological pattern. Uncertainty about stability of world order. See, the global citizen doesn't think just about their country. They're thinking about several markets, several worlds, several different governments. The global citizen, this instability, this uncertainty about stability, rather, causes them to start thinking about migrating. Because typically, global citizens, they live here for some months, they live here for some months, and they're not just nomadic. The global citizen and the nomad ain't the same person. The global citizen is also, not often they're not. The global citizen monies and movements tend to consider more than just location, when the nomad typically just considering location or where they want to be. But the global citizen is strategically posturing and positioning themselves at certain times of the year in certain climates for specific things. And so the psychological pattern of the global citizen in a time of war is thinking more about migrating now and where is safe in a time of war. And the global citizen can get tired and just want to lay because you're exhausted from the decision that you may have to make, and the uncertainty sitting in your body makes you tired. And so the global citizen right now is probably planning relocation. The global citizen is probably looking at the diversification of income and increased attention to geopolitics right now. Number 3, the global investor. They're sitting in fear and opportunity at the same time, possibly, and have split behavior, panic versus strategy. That's the psychological posture or pattern of the global investor right now. And so they're dealing with cortisol spikes, that's the fear of loss, and then also the dopamine spikes, which is that risk-taking energy. Let me take the risk and do this, or maybe I should pull out here, or maybe I should invest there. Because wartime is a great time to make some money, too. The global investor at this moment starts moving capital across borders. They start hedging into hard assets. And risk tolerance gets adjusted in the global investor at this moment. Because of the volatility, they start looking for what is the best case scenario, so that risk tolerance often gets adjusted down. Number 4, the single parent starts to feel that heightened sense of responsibility for that child you're taking care of in a time of war like this. And the fear of instability that you're experiencing, how it's affecting the children. That's the single parent. And see, y'all, we don't think about this stuff enough. We tend to only think about ourselves. But what I'm trying to get you to do is look at the psychological and neurological pattern of those in your community so that you can show up better. And I'm going to give you some plans of action. The single parent can be experiencing decision paralysis right now. Just don't know what to do. And this happened at a time I already was burned out. And that single parent, to function, they're constantly going through adrenaline rushes, which have psychological and neurological effects. Let me cut the expenses here. I'm just going to stop my investment and I'm going to secure this. Get emotionally exhausted by the cycle, the up and down of it all. The single parent is thinking about themselves and their child. The single person is dealing with the isolation being intensified in a time of war because people aren't out doing as much. And that means you're not doing as much. So you're more isolated in a time of war. It's almost like a form of pandemic when a country or countries are in war because that carefulness of your movement or restriction of it rather. In a time of war, single people want to connect more. The desire to connect deepens. Now, I don't know how this has been showing up for you single people. You're on the phone more, texting more, you're going out to eat more, or you having more sex, more random hookups, or sex with your person. It's because the desire for connection deepens. Because psychologically, neurologically, you're trying to find a sweet spot to where there's no anxiety. And the dopamine, serotonin, cortisol, everything starts settling. That's what you're looking for. So either you withdraw or you over-socialize. And that socialization will be impulsive. And so the single person is going to be online more than normal in a war cycle climate. Why? Because of that need for engagement. That digital dependency just increases. Watch it. That affects you psychologically and neurologically. Number 6, the black church pastor in a time of war. Now, what I'm going to say very plain. The black church pastor right now is stressed because giving has become more cautious, more calculated. Fear replaces faith-based generosity. That is happening right now, and it's only going to increase. People start measuring the leadership differently. Why? Because we're in a war cycle. And we've been inundated with certain things when we're outside of these four walls or when we're not engaging with you, Pastor. So we're questioning why you're not speaking to what we're dealing with. We're questioning why you're not tooling us and giving us systems and practical things to deal with what we are dealing with. You keep pushing hope every Sunday. It's the same thing you were doing hoping I'm coming out and things going to get better and God going to bless me and prosper me. You've been just finding 159 different ways to say the same thing over to me in this time of war. And it's not working no more. In fact, the high don't last but about 24 hours, when before it would take me at least the midweek service. Now it don't last from Sunday to Sunday. So what really God saying, Pastor? And don't come tell me I still need to sow through this. You ain't said nothing to me worth me to sow a seed into what you done said. You ain't said nothing. You ain't said nothing. You ain't said nothing. And I'm dealing with the scarcity mindset. And I'm protecting my money from anything that's just taking it. And I'm looking at you now, Pastor, and the church a little sideways. Because I don't really see all of the benefit I get out of it anyway. I just been doing it out of my benevolence and out of my religious practice. But now I'm thinking about putting some money to the side and possibly moving out the country. So I'm going to hold this $100. So the black church pastor, psychologically and neurologically, is not okay. If they ain't going to tell you, I'm going to tell you. Your typical black pastor right now in this wartime is not okay. Not. No. Mm-mm. Because the tithe, the seed, the offering, all going down. The teruma just disappearing. People putting everything else first. They were saying mouth before house. They were saying, bless my man of God, bless the ministry. Well, because everything was good. But now things are tighter. So now, wait a minute, hold on now. And what does that say psychologically to the black pastor? Which we don't never look at it from their side much. The relationship, we tend to pay attention to the pew, not the pulpit. But let's look at what's happening in the mind. He's depressed. She's depressed. Because she feels like you're choosing somebody else over the relationship she has with you, he has with you. And let me tell you something pastors don't tell you. Maybe it's not the truth for all pastors. You can't pastor people and not be in love with them. So when they do or don't do, it affects you mentally and emotionally. It feels like a relationship where you have just neglected your partner and chosen somebody else for a while. Larry, just cause my tithe and my offering. Yes. And see, I know you can't understand it because you're not a pastor, because you've not birthed other people. But that's how it is. It's just like a woman who is a mom by choice, which we hope that's the case with all moms, but a woman who is a mom by choice and by natural birth versus a mom who is a mom by choice and some other means surrogate or adoption. Both moms, but it's different when a life force forms in you and grows in you. That is how it is for a pastor. Pastoring is matriarchal. I know you have only heard of it in the patriarchal aspect, but the reality is pastoring is matriarchal. And so whether it's a man or a woman, they carry you in their belly. And so when you do or not do, come and not come, it screws them up. How many moms out there, if your child say they don't never want to see you again, or they start choosing their boyfriend, or just in the natural, my daughter's now more into their boyfriends and stuff. I'm still daddy, of course. But they're more into their life. And that was a switch. For me, it was a relief. But for some other parents, they start trying to pull for their child and get into their life and decision-making too much. I want you to have a life, but some parents, they're a little bit different. So that black church pastor is dealing with all of the emptiness syndrome psychological effects and dealing with, the child going off to college. It's that kind of feeling. The breakup where they choose somebody else over you because people are protecting their pockets. So psychologically, neurologically, the black pastor is not okay right now. I don't care who they are. Your average black pastor is not okay right now. They're not. The inconsistent giving and support patterns and having then to now rely on your high-level donors. For those of you that don't understand nonprofit structure, whenever you are based off of donations, in times like this, you lean more into your high-level donors to make up for the scarcity at the bottom. That's what they say, anyway. I'm not receiving that. And then they're under a structural stress, the black pastor. Larry taking a long time with this. Yes, because I'm one, and I've been one for decades. I got it. I understand. The overhead becomes harder to maintain, and now the pastor has to make cuts. Oh, no, I've been knowing Billy Bob and them since their children was in grade school. Now they in college, and I got to cut their pay. You sure do, because you can't be top heavy. You won't be able to function and work the ministry. You still got to do your events. You still got to do what you got to do. A lot of pastors are feeling the pressure to become digital pastors. Good, I say. Of course, I say that. But that's a pressure for some pastors. Why would the pastor 70 years old? Digital? The board is telling the pastor right now, we need to create some online thing. You come out here, you teach, let the people stay home, let them give from home. And, because they don't come, they won't give. But if you start building the digital aspect, they get used to giving from their car, from the bathroom, from the shower, from the bedroom, then the ministry can continue on. But the pastor, I'm 71 years old. I don't like being in front of no. Okay, now we got a problem. See, now the pastor feels forced to go digital. Let me say this. The model that the church has been and who it must become in modern times creates a tension and pressure for the presbyters, which will be the pastor and all of the people, that handle the temple. They get paid to handle the temple. That becomes very stressful. Number 7, because I'm taking too long on that. But basically what I was saying in number 6 is that the fear amongst the people, it disrupts the flow of faith-based communities' economics. It's just the truth. So I'm telling you all of this so you can know what's happening in the world around you, outside of you, and maybe to you. Number 7, the entrepreneur. How many entrepreneurs in the chat? If you are an entrepreneur, put a 1 in the chat. If you are an entrepreneur, put a number 1. We're going to look at what's happening with you psychologically and neurologically. And then we're going to give you some plans of action. Okay, there are quite a few entrepreneurs. Wow. Okay. So we're going to split it up. Number 7 going to be the entrepreneur. Number 8, we're going to do the contractor. I think some of you saying you're an entrepreneur. I saw 2 of you. You're actually a contractor. I mean, I guess you can say that's an entrepreneur as well. Depends on the contract. All right, so the entrepreneur, they are experiencing something that's very unique because the entrepreneur is driven by the culture and the need of the culture and
the changes of the culture, the entrepreneur has their ear to the ground of what is happening, because their business comes out of a need, something that needs to be met, something that needed to be done, a service that they give, a product they have that people need. See, the entrepreneur is connected to the culture and the climate, what's happening. So they're in a split between panic and innovation. Ask me how I know. And so they're at the same time that they are internalizing this panic, this anxiety, they're also getting these new ideas. And so now, between the panic and the new idea, their system now needs to pivot. So now they have an increased pressure to pivot quickly, because the war is changing trade routes. The war is changing if I can get my products in for a certain price or not. How quickly I get them. This happened with the pandemic. That's why I'm saying this war cycle really feels pandemic-ish. Because the behavior of the collective is sort of looking like that, and the same fears and concerns. So now I've got to pivot quickly. I got to change some prices, because now it costs me more. I can't say 2 to 3 days no more. I must say 2 to 3 weeks before your product can come or I can get to you. Because now the fuel is way more than what it was. And I know normally I will charge you $100 to take you in black car from Buckhead to the airport. But the fuel has increased, and it's only going up, and the war ain't stopping. So now it's 120. And now I'm concerned that you're going to go with the ride share service that's still doing it for around 100, maybe 110. So now I'm dealing with this pivot in the midst of panic and innovation. I'm constantly being inundated with new ideas. At the same time, new stressors are showing up. If you don't regulate yourself in between all of that, you are at risk for burnout. So the entrepreneur right now, they are having to rapidly adapt. They're also having to diversify their income because the war may impact contracts, how they're funded. If I am contracted with a nonprofit, that's that giving thing. People start pulling back. Now the entity can't pay me. So I need to get different type contracts, some with LLCs, some with corporations, some with S Corps, C Corps. I need to get these contracts, big business, small business, so that when one stops, I still got this over here. And with this happening, you start seeing two types of entrepreneurs. One that's reactive and fear-driven, and then one that's strategic, that's positioning-driven. That would be me. I have been reposturing myself for years. Really started in 23. So in a war cycle, it's not designed to kill the entrepreneur. It's designed to expose your ability to adapt. So all of you who do business and have business and you have not changed a thing since we've been in this war cycle, none of your processes, I don't have to prophesy this. This is just common sense. You ain't gonna last. I repeat, you ain't gonna last. Because this war cycle climate, remember the reason for war is because of the new form that has been introduced and overlaid on top of a new one. So you need to have your tentacles and your antennas extended so that you can know the new form, the new structure that your business needs to embrace. Last one, the 8th type, and then I'm going to give you plans of actions. Oh, Jesus. It's 9:36. Oh, I'm way behind. The contractor. Now, how many of you, if you said you was an entrepreneur or number 1, but you are a contractor as well, or instead, put a number 2 if you are a contractor. That means you get paid because of a contract that you have with the client. It means you have clients. You invoice them. If you just invoice, if you invoice them, then you're in the same world, because the contract and the gig worker, contract-based income is similar. I go do something for you, I give you an invoice, and then you fulfill it. That's gig. But if I have a contract with you, it may be for 12 months, and I may do this act for you 15 times. But every month for those 12 months, I'm going to get the same pay as long as I continue to give you the same service. So the psychological pattern of the contract in the time of war, the income instability becomes real. And the constant pressure of next job, it becomes a loop. Constant next job, next job, next job, next job. The gig worker and the contractor, next job. It becomes a pressure loop. Because for most contractors, because we're paid for what we're doing, our identity, most times, even in the best of us, is tied to our productivity and what we produce and what we do. So if I have less jobs and less things producing, I'm not producing as much, psychologically, I feel insecure, possibly insignificant as well. We're looking at the psychological pattern of the contract in the wartime. The great thing about being that type of worker, gig worker and contractor, you are able to tell market shifts before everybody else. See, I knew that we would be here long ago because I can look at people's giving habits and tell you what's happening in the world globally because of all of the different people that I'm responsible for undergirding. They're in so many different industries. So it gives me a great look at what is happening in these industries. We're not talking about the prophetic in the sense of hearing from God. We're talking about the prophetic as relates to recognizing patterns. The contractor senses it first. Companies that had funding for contracts for 12, 18, 2 years, now they're doing it in 3 months increments. Wait a minute, we're getting new contracts every 3 months versus 3 years now? Okay, something going on. Yeah, things are shifting. Money's moving. See, in recessions and in war, money don't evaporate. It just moves differently. This is why the contractor needs to be very, very prophetic, and entrepreneur needs to be very, very sensitive, intuitive, because you may need to start a new business or a new offer in a war cycle. In order to get the money you used to get from this, you're going to have to do that to get that money, because it's going to dry up over here. And that's just an illusion. The dry up is an illusion. It's just really a movement. And you've got to create the thing that the money is moving to now, because it's not moving over here no more. So that next job pressure can possibly be relieved if you would just be open to doing something else. A new offer, a new product. The contractor also can be dealing with that spike, prolonged cortisol, because of the unpredictability now that's just entered your income. That hyper vigilance that we discuss gets very real for the contractor, because you're looking for the opportunity, or you're looking for the threat to you getting to the paper, the coin. And the contractor's going through an very emotional game, because when they get paid, dopamine spikes. But because of the climate, it's like, don't let me get too happy. It's not going to stay. Or, I ain't had no check. Because see, contract work, 1 month you can have a $20,000 month. Same thing with entrepreneur. And then the next month be a $4,000. So although you've done 20 this month, like, oh well. So dopamine goes up, then back down, because you are aware of what is happening in the climate. And this is a recession. So you find yourself stuck between reward, urgency, fatigue, pressure, all of that going on. This is happening around you, you guys. Maybe out of these 8, 2 or 3 of these you are experiencing. So don't feel any kind of way of now that your money has shifted and things economically have changed. And as a result, now you're not putting back like you were in savings before. You can't do it every single week or every 2 weeks or every month. Now you don't put a drop in savings to like every 3 months. Okay, I understand that. Your saving patterns become inconsistent. There's some neurological and psychological, things that can go off when that pattern shifts. You also have to be careful, contractor, 9-to-5 worker, entrepreneur. In a war cycle, you want to reward. Right in the middle of reward is the word what? War. When you're in a war cycle or you're in any type of war, remember you've got to pay attention to your reward centers. Because what happens is that reward compensation behavior heightens. And I mentioned this earlier in the conversation when I talked about people start chasing those dopamine hits. The payout itself from the contract can spike reward compensation behavior. And before you know it, you got to wait around till you get another contract invoice fulfilled because you done went crazy. You didn't have to go to Disneyland. You went, why? Because you were looking for a dopamine shot. Because you're in this war cycle in the middle of pivots and urgency and changes. And it's just too darn much. So you just want to escape. I got it. Those of you that are contractors, you drive Uber, you drive Lyft, you work through these freelance apps. You signed up, now they acting funny. Well, that's a sign that you need to diversify. Now you can't get all your money or your main money from driving Lyft. You can't get all your main money from that one client that is so consistent it feels like a paycheck every month. You are a contractor. You are an entrepreneur. You're supposed to be creating your own wealth without a middleman. Find the problem that only you can solve and get paid for it. In a war cycle, we know people want to feel better. Where your alcohol license? You can do some bartending on the side now. It's a great time now because people coming in there to sit at that bar and they're going to talk about all their problems. Monetize it for yourself. Hell, this is capitalism. People are going to need coaching and well, actually therapy because of what's going on. You're a therapist. Make sure you got your stuff to where people can hit that button, cyberly, book you, and you pop up ready to help them fix their issue. I saw an amazing app that had been started. I said, oh, this is a great idea. I wish I had thought of it. Had I thunk it. The moment you get stopped by police, if you got the app, you can just hit the app. Instantly, a lawyer pops up on your device for you to record the whole process. They'll tell you what to say and what not to do. That is so smart. So, my God, I wish I had looked that up. Real lawyers from all over the world chiming in because you got the monthly subscription. It makes that your lawyer. And it showed where a guy had been stopped with the cop and was asking who this, and she said, I'm his lawyer. And she began to ask, well, how you his lawyer and he's out of state, you don't have jurisdiction. Say, yes, I am his lawyer. I'm representing a whole firm of lawyers, and we have lawyers in that state that will be helping him. And what do you need from him? Black people, we need that. So, entrepreneur, contractor, the war cycle is giving you an opportunity to diversify. Maybe there are new problems now. So people need new solutions. Maybe that's you. See, entrepreneurs and contractors understand something that 9-to-5ers don't. We understand, and we have this muscle developed, this lack of need for financial predictability. Now, the war cycle is heightened, so we go through these things. But the entrepreneur and the contractor, we have that muscle built to where we go and make our paychecks. Not go clock in to somebody, give us one. We don't mind that. We have the faith and the grace for that. Just under the war cycle, it just heightens a lot. There is a part of us as entrepreneurs and contractors that desire and crave that structure and predictability. But we know that's an enemy to us. That's an enemy to us. It's deadly to us. To want that consistent check. It kills our vision. It kills our innovation, our creativity. We have built a muscle for going and getting the money, for going and meeting the need, creating a new product for a new stream. It don't matter that this one thing we do with this company here covers everything. We do not see that as long term. The true contractor and the entrepreneur don't see that as long term. We see that as for the moment. Now, let's build something over here, because when that goes, I need to have this. And see, in a war cycle, all that's intensified because of the unpredictability. So just like the entrepreneur, you'll see in a war cycle, either you'll start to see the survival contractor or the strategic one. The strategic contractor, when you do the job, you're raising your rates. Tell them there's a 5% surcharge because you got to travel over there now. And the gas done went up. Contractors start building retainers. Well, I do this for you every month, invoice you, but, I give you a 10% discount on what you normally pay me if you would sign this contract that I do it for the next 12 months. You start turning your gigs into contracts, retainers, recurring contracts. That's the strategic contractor. You start systemizing your income instead of that temptation to chase. All right, so I'm about to give you plans of actions, but before I do, you have an opportunity now to support this platform. Now, what you have heard, what is it worth to you? $53.33. Everyone, $53.33. That's the partner level. High performer level is $133.33. I'm asking for 7 people. Stakeholder, I'm asking for 7 people, $333.33. And super seed, I'm asking for 7 people, $533.33. Now, partners, I'm asking for 53 of you. Now, there are 400 some odd people that's watching. I know it's in the room, and it's only nice and kind to say thank you. Now, if you can't do 53.33, do something with a lot of threes in it for this 3rd month. And these are the ways that you can do it. Look to your screen right now. Here it is. Now, over there on the left, that's the teruma, the mouth of the house. Over there on the right is the house. So that 53.33, that 133.33, that 333.33, and 533.33, over there on the right is where you put it, and it is a trajectory point seed. Or you may want to call it wartime protocol seed. I don't know what you need to grow more of in your life. Whatever it is, make that seed that. Because it's a seed time harvest principle activation right now. It's not just an offering. It's not just giving. This is seed time harvest activation of that principle. We're about to practice that principle. Name the seed, what you need. Over there on the right, in the chat, the Stripe link in the chat is preferred. Anyone with a blue handle, putting a link in there, that's one you can trust. Or Zelle, that's quick, instant from your bank to MBN Network Global. The email is donations@mbnnetworkglobal.org. Please pay attention to that email address. Make sure it's right. Donations@mbnnetworkglobal.org. All right, you got that? And for the Teruma Saint, there's a Teruma link in there. Don't get the links mixed up. Or the Zelle is that email Zelle. I am LarryDReid@gmail.com. Ooh, it's got hot in here. All right, once you do that, put in the chat that you've done it, at what level you've done it at. Kendall's going to star it so that I can actually recognize the donation that you've given to MBN Network Global. All right. Huh? Oh, okay. Did that put in here? Okay, now while you're doing that, I need to make an announcement before I go to the plans of action. This is a powerful part. On April the 1st, all the way to May the 31st, we're doing a challenge within the Celestial Circle community. And we are looking to actually give away a package to a content creator. and many of you are content creators. If you are an entrepreneur or contractor, you should be also a content creator because you can generate leads from online. But we're going to make sure you start the ones that's telling us what they're donating. You can receive this package, but you do have to be a part of the challenge from April the 1st to May the 31st. I'm going to be looking at those of you that are Celestial Circle members, and I want to find the content creator of the quarter. And go right now and sign up if you want to be considered. We're going to be watching all your social media. So you got from today to the 31st to sign up. And the observation period is April the 1st through May the 31st. And the winner will be announced on June the 5th and your prize package. mbnnetworkglobal.org/updates. All righty, let's see. May the force be with you. All right, we had an advertisement before we go into plan of action. No, where is it at? Is it not in this one? Oh, yeah. No, it's not. But I got to find a way to... hold on. Give me a minute, you guys. Wait just a minute. I got to get that commercial together. It's not in this one for some reason. Please hold. Screenshot that. Okay, you got that? Those of you at the top, when I suggested you about becoming part of Celestial Circle, $2,026, you can do that at this time as well. And remember, that comes with this whole School of Prophets and Mystics course. What you've missed will be sent to you. And you'll also get the first 2 sessions from this band coaching 12-week session as well. And you enter into the community where there are other people, entrepreneurs just like you. To do that donation, go to mbnnetworkglobal.org and go down to Celestial Circle and choose that. All right. I don't see where these commercials are not going to play because they're still loading. It's taking forever for them to load. So while that's happening, I'm just going to go ahead into the plans of action. Make sure you're starring. All right, plans of action. Now, having a plan of action is extremely important right now because of this war cycle that we are in. A recalibration is happening. The war is saying goodbye to what was and hello to the new realities. The questioning of the dollar, energy being weaponized, the world is reorganizing itself in real time. And the growing pains and the shiftings are all severe. some more severe than others, but all of them can be felt by the collective. And you don't need to panic. You need to have a plan. You do not need to panic. You need to reposition. You do not need to be reacting to what's happening. You need to be positioning for what is coming. So plans of actions are terribly important right now. And we're going to be able to see who is who as time goes along. Now, believe it or not, everybody's not clear about what's happening this year. Everybody's not clear about what's going to be happening over the next few years. But by the middle end of 2027, and I've been telling you guys this since we came into the new calendar year, the majority of Americans, and possibly many other nations as well, are going to be very clear about what's up. But for many, it's going to be very difficult to reposition yourself by the middle end of 2027. This is the time now to get in the right position, to develop and redevelop your business, your brand identity, your streams of income. It's time to increase according to Ecclesiastes 11:7, yea, even 8 streams, and get into several different markets and diversify and lock into things that hold value. So the first plan of action is really a financial protection plan. That's number one. Plans of actions. What do I do right now, Reid? Financial protection plan. Financial protection plan. Those of you that are coming in now, we are already at the juncture, where we are donating 4 different levels to the MBN Network Global. And there is a link in the chat, the way that you can say, I've enjoyed this. $53.33, $133.33. And remember, those of you that are doing that level and the $333.33, Shamako is going to be calling you. I need 7 of you to choose to do $133.33, and another 7 of you to choose to do $333.33 to support us, and then 7 of you to do Superseed. And I have been enjoying being able to send audio to each and every one of you personalized, using the gifts that I have and my ability to hear from Spirit, to minister to you, to tell you about your future and where you are and what's on God's mind concerning you. And I've had an opportunity to do it to several hundreds of you since we came into this year. I am excited about it. I love to do it, and I would love to have you on my list. Those of you that are supporting this platform, a minimum of $533.33 tonight, today, wherever you are, you will be hearing from me over the next few days. Okay, so the first one is a financial protection plan. Everybody listen to me. I don't care if you make $1,000 a month. You got to make a psychological shift and stop thinking income and start thinking positioning. Whatever you have in your hand, whatever you have incoming, you have got to think position. This is not an income. This is the fuel for repositioning. You should have never looked at your paycheck as the thing you need in order to pay rent, pay mortgage, car note, insurances, entertainment, clothes, shoes, travel. You should have been looking at your paycheck as the thing you use to generate the money to cover your rent, mortgage, clothing, shopping, entertainment, travel, food, and such. We were not told that. as the collective, because that is not for us to do. It is for those that are rich and in power or white to do. So they were told, we were made workers and told to pay your bills on time. They were told to take risk, and when you get it wrong, file bankruptcy. So we have to now shift psychologically as it relates to our finances. Do not assume stability as an American or as an American entrepreneur, contractor, pastor. Do not assume stability. You better not. But you need to assume what is sure. Cycles are sure. We could come out of this and go into a 10-year cycle of nothing but prosperity, like it's a golden age. But the mistake we make is that we don't think financially in terms of cycles. If we did, in our up times, we will move differently. Hopefully what I'm saying is putting that caution in you forever, because we're going to have up and down. You're going to have ups and downs. But in the up, I need for you to consider positioning and not assume that it's going to stay up. Assume that it's going to go down. And if you're down, assume that it's going to come up. I don't want you to assume stability, because that's not promised. And it's not a reality. Nothing is forever stable. Nothing. So your action step, financial protection plan. Number one, you got to build a 6-month cash reserve, minimum. You've got to have your money going into what you need for it to go into. Maybe that's your checking, your expenditure accounts. And then you got to have money that is going into investment or real hard assets, real estate, silver, gold. And then you got to have money, and this basically ain't doing nothing but breaking down the financial wellness plan that we teach in the community to everybody that comes in. So you got the liquid cash expenditures, hard assets. And then that third one, you got to put that money in assets that grow. See, that's where the stock market show up. That's where crypto show up. Stable coins, meme coin. If you want to do all that, you got to have some wisdom, some knowledge, and some know about it. There's a whole lot of that in that. But the real estate thing, I got you that in my sleep. Reduce unnecessary debt right now. Remember, I told you this. It may not be on the main platform. When I landed in Ghana, where is that at? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find it. Because Spirit spoke directly to me. Let me find it. I just landed in Ghana. Here it is. This is on March the 6th. While you still have money, while you still have access to your money, Spirit says do something wise and do something now. Plan of action. Reduce unnecessary debt now. Sell it. Turn it back in. Let it go. File and release yourself from it. Reduce unnecessary debt. Anything that is taking your liquid. Anything you have financed that is an adjustable rate or it changes every year, sell that, get out of that, or do some kind of refinancing to where you can lock in a fixed rate no matter what happens. No, we're still in number 1, financial protection plan. All of this is under number 1. Because listen, if your money only works when the system is calm, you are exposed. What if the system breaks and that company can no longer cut you a check? Don't you come crying to me about that whenever it happens, 5 months from now, a year from now? No. Because I'm telling you right now, and I've been telling you for almost a year, to go ahead on and make sure that you diversify and multiply your streams of income. Number 2, plan of action. A currency strategy. I'm going to say a currency plus dollar strategy. See, the dollar is probably going to continue to stay, it's weaker than what it was, but it's going to stay strong short term. But there's a lot of language around the decline of the dollar. It has been for some years, but particularly the last year, we've heard that talk a lot. So you need to go ahead and know that when it comes to currency in America, things are changing. So you don't need to have all of your dollars in the American market to preserve value. It's a good time to take some dollars and flip it into a currency that is more stable. A currency that has the gold standard backing. Even if the dollar right now is more strong than it is, it's wise to get some currency with gold standard backing. You cannot sit in 100% USD. You cannot sit in 100% dollars. You must not. This is a plan of action. Consider international assets, consider commodities, and be selective when it comes to foreign currency exposure. Make sure that you are assessing geopolitical situations and the possibility of their currency changing, and make wise decisions. This is your plan of action. Okay? Number 3, income stability plan. Now, this is critical for everybody. Remember, we've done them 8 different types of people, so all of them included. You must move from single income to layered income. Please don't hear me say these things and you do nothing about it. You must move from single income to layered income. So you have a primary income, secondary skill-based income, and then an asset-based income. Layer your incoming. Identify what pays you actively, what pays you passively, what pays you globally, and build income that is digital, transferable, and not location locked. So all of you that got to go into a brick and mortar in order to get your check, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you, but you can take what you're making and diversify and fund something else that can fund you. Those of you that don't have to physically go into a brick and mortar, you have an advantage. We don't know how long you're going to have it, but you have an advantage. You can work from anywhere. If you know you have job security for the next year, 2 years, I would even say if you know you got it for the next 8 months, you need to, in 30 days or 3 months, definitely within the next year, you need to go ahead and move somewhere. And I'm not saying you leave the U.S. entirely. You may need to move from California to the East Coast. You may need to split your time between the coasts. You may need to become to where you have somewhere you stay 6 or 8 months in another country and then America. What I'm saying, if you are able to make that money here in one location, you cannot have 90 to 100% of your wealth and your money only circulating and locked into this location. You need to find a way to expand with what you're making on this land. What I would do, I would get a place in Costa Rica, in Portugal, South Africa, some other space. I'm still in Dubai. I would get something in one of these localities, Thailand, Shenzhen, China. Is it Luopo, China? It's a nice place. But I would make these American dollars, and then I would begin to build somewhere where I could live for months and conserve what I am exchanging in dollars and transact lower. I would just begin to split it up like that, because if your income is dependent on one system and one employer, one contract in one country, you are vulnerable. And if that's the case, okay, then secure yourself more. Okay, start cutting down how you live in here in America. Get you a second place, a second space. Try to get residency or citizenship so you can get into their banking and get into their stock market, just their financial world a little bit more. And now your one income from that one contract, from that one country and that one currency, now is diversified between continents and markets. This stabilizes your income. This also stabilizes probably your financial protection plan with assets and stuff. That helps that. Number 4, family security plan. Family security plan. You should have that in place, should have had it in place. But as Americans are, we are sold the illusion of safety, and what happens there, and over there don't come here. But, you know, we're just in a different type of war with our government here. So the family needs an emergency fund. The family needs a communication plan. Do you have rapid radios, satellite phones? The family needs a relocation option, even if it's temporary. Your family security plan has to consider relocation option. As family security plan goes, you may need 30 to 60 days of food basics. This is really the time, and I'm actually going to give you a list of that, 'cause I wrote it down for me, but I'm going to share it with you guys. This is really the time where you make sure that you have enough food for a few weeks, enough water for a few weeks, and your medications that you need, have that to the side for a few weeks worth. I don't know how you may do this because things expire. but you may have to flip this every 60 days. This is also family security plan. It's a great time to talk to your children about what you're doing to secure the family just so they can learn. It gives them financial literacy. And remember, family security plan, you don't do this in fear. This is preparation. Ain't no panic. Shouldn't be no panic in it. It's just preparing. Number 5, a geographical strategy. Geographic strategy, which I'm sort of hinting to. Certain regions become unstable faster than others. So if you're thinking about dual citizenship, you need to think geopolitically. People are right now thinking about moving, even if they ain't doing it. It's coming across their mind. Everybody's thinking about it, even if just from coast to coast, state to state. Where am I living and why? And what systems does this place depend on that may be shifting or changing drastically? I need to consider a secondary location, geographically. Places with more stable infrastructure. Access to food and water is not so expensive. Places that have a strong local economy. That's a security plan for your family. Is also a great geographic strategy. Number 6, investment strategy. I only have 8 of these, so I'm almost done. If you're watching now and you like, oh my God, this is so good, I want to support, look in the chat. There are 4 different ways that you can support, and we turn around and support you, and you will hear from us. Investment strategy. Now, this is war cycle time specific. Because in this particular war, energy, defense, commodities, up. If you want to get into these stocks or whatever, this is of heightened concern. But remember the volatility of the stock market in there. Do not trade emotionally when it comes to energy, defense, and commodities. These stocks that you get into with energy and defense, oil, gas, gold, metals. No emotional trading. Don't chase the hype. Do long-term positioning, not the daily panic trades. If you are skilled to do that, have at it. But I'm talking to those of us that invest, and I'm just putting a little guardrail in there. And remember, money doesn't disappear in a war cycle, even in the pandemic. It just transfers and moves differently. Number 7, let's go forward. You need a plan of action as relates to your nervous system. And this is for decision control and management. So you're going to need to, and this is difficult for me to say because this is an area of struggle, and I like to teach on the stuff that I do well. But I struggle with this one right here. Sleep discipline. This is key for your nervous system. And if your nervous system is off crazy, then your decision is going to follow that thing up. Sleep discipline. Also, manage the overstimulation. Don't be watching all of that kind of going on all the darn time. Intentionally be still. This is For your nervous system, practice stillness every single day. Just be still and quiet to reset the nervous system and breathe. Do not make any decisions about your money or anything if your nervous system is not in the calm state. I don't care how smart you are. When you are caught up and emotional and you make decisions in that state, you bankrupt some aspect of yourself. Even if you're smart and know better, calm. Let's make all decisions in this war cycle from calm, not panic, not reactionary, okay? Last one, and we are almost finished with this broadcast. Plans of actions for the entrepreneur, for the contractor. I want you to look at your business and the service that you provide and the product. And I want you to see where the demand is and what it is that you do. And then I want you to raise the prices where the demand is in what you do. Raise the prices right there. What, Larry? It's a war cycle. We're in a recession. The strategy is to get those who make more, have more disposable income to buy into what it is that you do, your product. Because this is going to keep your business afloat, because you're losing that bottom 10, 20, 30, 40% that gave you a thick foundation. This is the reason why the 4 levels of giving, I've only went but so high with the super seed. Well, I actually went high with the super seed, $533.33. Even if there are only 10 people, let's say 5 people do that. How much that come to, Kendall? That comes to like $2,500. What's that? Say 3 people do the 500. That's what it is. It's like $1,500. What am I thinking? So 3 people do $1,500. Let's suppose our goal, Yeah, $1,599. Let's suppose our goal for the day is $3,000, which it ain't. It's way higher than that. But let's suppose it's $3,000 for the day. If I get 3 people to do super seed, and then everybody else only do the partner seed of $53.33. Let's suppose only about 10 or 20 of those people do it. You got 3 people who done took the place of all these people who normally would give, who right now holding their money because they scared. So this is why you have to raise the prices to make up for what you're missing at the bottom. Because believe it or not, in a recession, in a depression, and in a war, people are not broke. They just move different with their money. Entrepreneur, that's what you need to do. You need also that gig work, and them contracts is like 30 days, 60 days. You need to see if you can't lock in a longer contract period or a retainer. Usually do graphics 2-3 times a month for them. That comes to about $300. Tell them they can put you on retainer for 6 months, $200 a month. You see what you're doing there? You're creating a stability and you're repositioning. So that's what you need to be doing. And in a war cycle, you need to build products and offers that not just fix what people need fixed, but also removes fear, establishes security, and give answers for their money problems. So you're going to have to build out what it is that you do in a way that can cause you to tap into a money flow that you wouldn't normally be able to tap into. So those of you that do have financial service companies, maybe you do security for cybersecurity or even physical security, health, you work in the world of health, logistics, or digital infrastructure, you got a great business that's going to last through this war cycle. You just got to make sure your strategies and positioning are in place. But you make it through this war cycle, but remember AI, artificial intelligence, and what is happening. Even in those areas, AI is changing your industry. And I gave you last week the industries where you probably have about a good 5 more years left before either AI replaces you or someone who works with AI replaces you. Many of you 2 years max, not 5. All right. This is it. The trajectory point has been all about correcting what's at the home base, correcting what's right in our space, so that then we can move forward in the shortest distance and direction of our destiny and hit it on the head, on target. Because if you 1 degree off at the trajectory point, that can end up being miles off when it comes to hitting your target. This has been a great series, an amazing series. Thank you, Dr. Nikovana. You're welcome. Who that? I don't know who that was. And she's a financial advisor. So that's big coming from her. So you got your plans of actions. Look in the chat. Our moderators are giving it to you. Back to back. All right, I want to recognize some of you that have donated. I know some of you don't put in the chat what you donated because you want people to see. I understand it. I just happen to be a different type of person. I want you to see. I don't care about you seeing me donating. I'm still going to tell you no if you couldn't ask for $10. But that's where I'm at right now. And thank you so much, Miss 7029, for becoming a members only. She over there on YouTube, members only, which, we discuss, it's a little no holds bars over there. Patreon, empowerment, education, spirituality, prophecy, prayer. But members only on YouTube, it's not quite the same. It's a little bit different. All right. So those of you that are watching say, I do want to support. I just don't know how to. Look at the bottom right down there. And then up in the chat, there's this link, a Stripe link, very secure. Your information is secure. It's encrypted. I can't even see it. One thing we see is your name, your number, and the amount that you donated. And we will be calling you and giving you the prophetic word. And remember, those of you that want to be in the Celestial Circle community at our events, get the School of Prophets and Mystic course and get the first 2 of the coaching band course. Come on. Come on, come on. Also, starting April the 1st, we have mentioned here about the Content Creator Challenge. And let me show that again one more time. Because this is for those of you in Celestial Circle, and the prize package is a real nice one. That starts April the 1st. Also, April the 1st, for the month of April, I'm going to be in Patreon, not just for morning prayers, and turn your notifications on because I do them now to where sometimes I choose me over doing it. Whether that's rest of me, just my own private devotion time. But in addition to that, I'm going to be popping up in Patreon, talking and leading conversations around some very important topics that concern me and you that I don't have time to talk about on a Sunday morning or on a Wednesday Q&A. So the Wednesday Q&A is actually giving us topics that we need to talk about more as a community in Patreon. So I'm going to be popping up in the month of April. So make sure you have your Patreon notification on. I'm going to be popping up in the month of April. You got to have the notification on because I'm not going to be sending out text to patrons every time I do it. Maybe sometimes, but not all the time. Make sure you are signed up so you can know when I'm on inside of Patreon having that conversation that's exclusively for our community. Okay, so let me honor you for coming over into the members only. All right. DeQuincia, thank you so much for your high performance. Shamako's going to be calling you. Versus me putting it on the screen, are y'all okay with me putting it on the screen or just saying it? You know, DeQuincia, thank you. Tamara, Taruma, and Super C. So I get to speak with you on this week. So that's number one. Kendall, you keeping record? All right, number one, we ever got one Super Seed, and DeQuincia was a high performer. I want, what I say, 7 Super Seeds, 7 high performers, 7 stakeholders, and 53 partners. You got it? All right, I'm about to go through the rest of them. Beverly Sweeten has done a Super Seed, so I get to speak with her this week. We only need 5 more of those. Thank you. Dr. Nicavona is the first one for a partner seed. We'll need 52 more. Thank you. Another partner seed, Cerise. Hey there. Carrie Jones, Super Seed. I get to speak with her this week. We only need 4 more there, Super Seed. Hey, Ryan, how are you doing? Partner Seed. Good to see you in the chat, and I will see you July the 24th through the 26th. Jenna, High Performer Seed. That's the second high performer, I think that is, with DeQuincia. Thank you, Jenna, for your support. Cartrice done a high performer seed. Thank you so much, Cartrice, for your high performer seed. I think that's number 3, right? All right, so the super seed and high performer running neck and neck. The stakeholder ain't showed up yet. Let's see. High performer, Tam. Okay, that's number 4, ain't it? High performer always come out the gate. Partner seed. Hey there, I am Crystal J. Thank you. So 52 more? All right. Also, we just need 49 more. Okay, 49 more. All right. Partners. Got that. Stakeholder. CJ, the first stakeholder. Ain't she? Yes. First stakeholder, we only need 6 more. Thank you, CJ. Partner C, Linda Pro. Thank you. 47 more needed. Stephanie Peoples, Taruma Tithe, and Trajectory. See, high performer. She a little over a high performer. That's 5 high performers, ain't it? High performer be. They come out the gate. Oh, the link won't open, CJ said. You fixed it? Oh, God. We don't let that need to happen. Oh, for the content creator. Okay, so it need to be fixed. Okay, all right. All right, another partner seed. Thank you so much, Shelly, for your support. Been around a long time. Vanda, partner seed. Thank you so very much. Mother Irene, your mama, partner seed. Thank you so very much. The eldest in the community. Joseph, partner seed. How you doing, Joseph? Good to meet you last year. Latina, partner seed. Thank you so very much. We need like 41 more partners are showing up now. 43 more. Okay, another Farrell. Hey, Farrell. Wagwan. Sandra, High performer seed. Shamako's going to be calling you with the prophetic word. Dorothy Curtis, how are you doing? That is another high performer seed. Shamako's going to be calling you. Partner seed. Mother Ivory, how are you doing? Erica Count, stakeholder. We got 2 stakeholders now. Okay, great. High performer. Hey, Terrell, professor. Another high performer, Rhonda Jones. God bless you. Partner seed. Vanny Monroe. Thank you, Vanny, for your support here. Akeem, financial protection seed. Okay, she named her seed. I got you. I see what you're growing. Leonica, thank you so very much. Lift me as a prayer to have my gallbladder removed today at 2 p.m. for a speedy recovery. Oh, got it. We just speak that into existence. All things well. Supersede, another supersede, Jenna A. McDonald. Oh, it's the 4th supersede. We only need how many more? 4, 5, 6, 3 more supersede. Y'all gonna have me working this week. Another high performer, Julie Alexander. Thank you so very much. All right, Angela, trajectory seed, prosperous financial protection plan seed. So got you. Partner seed, Crystal and Nathan. Thank you. Kendall Peacock, partner seed. Thank you. You marking them? Hey, Jane, spoke to y'all in a while prophetically. Been about a month, maybe a month and some. Dominique Jones and Chris Jones. You will be hearing from me on this week. So we need 2 more super seed. Partner seed. Thank you so very much. Sandra Dickens. Troya McQueen. Wagwan. How you doing? Taruma and partner seeds sown with intention. Thank you. How many more partner seeds we need?
We have a total of 17.
How many more we need? Within the 30s, I know that. Thinking like 38 more, 36 more. Thank you so much for helping us, you guys. DST Capricorn, Fola, Wagwan, how you go? Tiffany, trajectory seed. Thank you. She didn't tell me what kind it was. What is that, Tiffany? Was it a partner, high performer, stakeholder, super seed? Thank you, Dr. Reid, for this series. It has been spot on. I'm glad to hear that. And I enjoy your stories too on IG. Partner seed, Christian Patton. How you doing? Oh, Tiffany McCormick was a high performer. Got it. LaWanna Jones, Super C, how you doing? How are you? Super C, what's that? We got 7? We got 6? Oh, that's LaWanna. You didn't hear me? Who was that one? Who? Oh, okay. All right, so now, okay, we got one, a secret Super C, and that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So now we have 7 with LaWanna Jones. Thank you so much, LaWanna. Another stakeholder. We got to get the stakeholders. How many more stakeholders? Donnell Latrice.
I saw a comment. Terrell said he made a mistake. He's a stakeholder.
Oh, Terrell made a mistake, so he's a stakeholder. Okay, so fix that. So that's 4 stakeholders counting. Donnell Latrice. It was a high performer. No, it was a Super C. I think he put Super C before. Tara, what did you say before? Text it to Ken. He got your number. Or text it to me so we know what number to take from the list because, yeah, still teaching. All righty. All right. A few more here. Partner seed. No, that's not part C. High performer C, DM McCray. So Shamako's going to be calling you with a prophetic word. DM. Another high performer, Monica Quiones. Thank you. Another high performer, Shamako's going to be calling you, Sharita Turner. All right. Now listen, by 5 o'clock tomorrow in Patreon, you're going to see your name thanking you for your donation. God would like to recognize everybody who donates and support here on this platform. So we're looking for, which one that we didn't finish? Partner C?
Partner C, stakeholder.
How many stakeholders we need?
Didn't you say 7?
But how many? We need 3 more stakeholders. Who is that? 3 more stakeholders. Maybe one of those high performers can do the difference and go up a level. Because I think that it was 133 to 333. So we need 3 more stakeholders. We have everything else. And then partners. We need about 30-something more partners, 35 more partners to show up. If you are watching, and you say, I enjoyed this and this was great, and you think that it's nice and kind to support, please do. In this series, we have heard a lot in this series. Oh, I was supposed to, I forgot something. Let me look and see if I can find. Okay, let me do this. Key timeline windows. And this is according to astrology. And then I'm done. Is that okay for me to do? Or I know it's already a lot, but can I do that too? Another Super C, Nicole Johnson. Thank you, Nicole. Okay, so can I do that? Thank you. I'm so glad you said I can. All right, so from now to May the 15th, and I've said this a few times, on or around May the 15th is when, from now to then, escalation window. Why? Because Aries. Aries, that's that Mars energy, Pluto the first 10 years. So it's this layer upon layer upon layer for military action. Over and over. Conflict, quick conflict, reactionary conflict between now and on or around May the 15th. So this heightened energy is going to remain because of Aries, the sun, and Saturn and Neptune. That 0 degrees at Aries was the world point. And then 8 days later, we begin this, now that's been considered a global war without the official announcement, began 8 days later. This Iran-U.S. Israeli tension. And this makes the markets and money sensitive. So because of that, you need to have a minimum cash reserve on hand. Let's suppose banks go down, grid go down, a week or 2. Enough cash for that. For you to be able to go and buy perishable and non-perishable if you need to. But you should have some stuff stacked up as well for a few days. This is a great window now on or around May the 15th to also begin to reduce your unnecessary expenses. And within the next 90 days, secure a new backup income stream. Then from the middle on around May the 15th all the way to August, before Leo closes. So that period is the next period. there could be, according to the heavens, an appearance of stabilization to where it looks like, okay, things are calm now. It appears calm, and markets may even bounce back temporarily, and people will think that it is over. But it's a false stabilization window that is possible between May and August. But do not relax your positioning or your planning. Use this false stabilization window to increase your storages, to move money strategically, to finalize relocation plans if needed. Do that in that time. Whenever it looks like it's getting better, there's always what we don't want to experience, the underbelly workings happening at the same time. So in that window, be moving with that awareness. Then pressure returns on or around middle August throughout November, the energy of it to the end of the calendar year. And that's because Uranus is getting farther in Gemini, which happens April the 26th. So that Gemini distortion now starts disrupting systems and communications and the market. At the same time, Pluto is going deeper into Aquarius, so that restructuring of Pluto and Uranus shifting in Gemini is going to cause market volatility, geopolitical unpredictability, and cyber and infrastructure concerns between August and November. You need to be fully positioned in what it is that you want to go or grow in by August, because there's going to be a tightening that's going to be happening in that time period. Prioritize liquidity over flexibility. Now, 2027 to 2029. This is the major restructuring window. Pluto is further in Aquarius, systems, technology, power shifts. Uranus is further in Gemini, trade wars, war cycle, energy, steel, and communication, breakdown of systems cyberly, the grid even, electricity, and even electricity that runs on the ocean floor. And Saturn and Neptune in Aries, it goes further into that. So that's new global order pressure. So 2027 to 2029 is the restructuring of money systems and a redefining of global power and who is the global power. And this is where you're going to see China, Russia, and America bump heads in that 2027 to 2029 window because of BRICS, because of trade routes. You're going to begin to see a fight more so for global power, which is what this war is basically about. Who controls the energy? Who controls tomorrow? But even in that window, you and I still need to be about our business and positioning ourselves the best way possible in these time periods. So remember, the banking system is going to have these stress cycles. So just keep a little cash on hand, just in case something crazy happens, because in the heavens it's a possibility. And make sure you have that by May the 15th, on or around. And those of you that are moving, when we get into 2027, restrictions are going to even be more when it comes to movement because of the ways you got to prove your citizenship, the ways that they're going to be identifying us when we are going to the airport, when we are going to other places, even entering certain places to shop. These face scan biometrics takes the forefront here in America, which will be used for surveillance and control. But this is part of the innovation that Pluto brings. So when it comes to going in and out of the country, that's not going to be something that just anybody can do easily. Because they're going to be looking at health records. They're going to be looking at, have you been arrested? They're going to look at even, who do you owe? They're going to create all these different type things. What's on your social media? Why do you have dual citizenship? Why do you have residency? So much red tape around that. 2027, 2029. Access to food and water and health care, restrictions there. The country becomes less open to foreigners and how we move around. So make sure you're looking at that as well. And when it comes to places you're relocating to, make sure that politically they're more neutral or at least stable. All right? And that's it. I feel complete. It's 10:57. Jeez. Way over. But I feel like that I'm done. And we've lost half of the people that were watching. Well, it's all right. Thank you, Regina Spate, for high performer Nikki Ojo for your partner seed. Thank you. Lee Speaks. Lauren, thank you so very much for, I think that, what is that? That's a super seed. Wow. Thank you. Partner seed Sheba. All right. Thank you guys so much. Well, you definitely listened to my message this morning. Yes. CJ and Tamara tend to make sure I stay on clock. But before I started, I said, take your time. You need to take your time this morning. And I'm glad that was said, because it would have been in the back of my mind to rush. But we needed this extra almost hour to make sure it's very clear. Very, very clear. I know it's a lot of information. Listen to it again if you can. Take your notes and be guided by them. Please hit like and hit share and share this link with other people so that they could get everything that they need to get out of it. DeQuincy says, we needed this. Amzi White says, we needed this. Linda Pro says, great information. DeQuincy says, I definitely will. Vonda said, you laid a great foundation. Now, remember, Wednesday, I do feel like I emptied myself out, CJ. Now I can give birth to this spiritual sight, spiritual eye perspective, something thing we're going into for April. Because I got to do some work there. So we're going to do that Wednesday at 7 p.m., which may be the next time you hear from me. I may take off between now and Wednesday night. I might not. Okay? Thank you, Tamara. We truly need it. Monica Keon said we need it. Okay, that's great to hear. So I've done what I was supposed to do today, and I ain't even rushing nothing. Great information as always. Thank you, Alicia. You truly are giving us nuggets to move in this season we are in. That's the whole point. Remember, right now you don't need the hype and the hope thing. You can do that personally I'm not saying it's wrong, but what you need right now is systems and tools, and anybody that you sit and listen to and watch need to be giving you that. Yeah, because it's serious right now. And we're setting ourselves up for our tomorrow, today. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll see y'all on April the 1st at 7 o'clock. This is going to be I'm talking about the spirit world. That I know. I'm talking about the spirit world on Wednesday. You need to be in the place because it's going to be all about the eye. I still don't have the theme yet, but something about spirit world, spiritual perception, the prophetic eyesight, something. It's somewhere around in there. You know, we done the turning point, the tipping point, the trajectory point. Maybe this is the perception point, which is the place where we deal with our senses, our spiritual faculties, that all are part of perception and perceiving. Text me the perception point, maybe. We'll see how that go. You feel more prepared with this added information. Great. That's the whole point. Yep, thank you for coming on over to members only, because that's a whole different exchange. Yeah, we do need to digest it over the next few days. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. The perception point. Yeah, I think that's where we at. Because that'll give me an ability to all month to talk about the spirit world, the eye, the prophetic sensing, prophetic sight, all of that. I think that's, and because that is important. Because the smoke and mirrors is off the chain. It is absolutely off the chain. So I think that's what we're going to deal with. Yeah. The eye. Okay. Somebody said that's the right fit for April. Oh, Dr. Nicovona. What is that? I understand. Yeah, Nicovana. Shannon, yeah. All right, see you later. Wally, beloved, this is the way I say, take care of yourself. Goodbye. Thank you.